So men and women are not the same. In case you haven't noticed, we're quite different physically. Men have far more upper body strength. Women don't. You stand naked in front of a mirror with your girlfriend, and you will notice vast differences between the build of men and women. So those are just the physical differences. But the thing that I find interesting since I've been doing this is I see a lot of guys that are mostly plugged in, they're blue-pilled, and a lot of women that like to, come into this space and be like, hey, what's going on over there? What's that guy Rich talking about? Let me check it out. And this is that showing who's he talking to and what's that all going on? Oh, let me click on this video and see what's going on. And then they go and creep you, right? So they like to take something that works for guys. Like we'll tell guys spin plates, right? If marriage is your goal, because this is what a lot of guys will ask me, well, what's the best way to find a good, woman for wife stock? Date around non-monogamously with a bunch of women and find out what crap looks like and what great looks like. So at least if you're going to invest in mother stock for children, you at least make an educated guess. So yeah, you're going to have to dig through a little bit of dirt, sometimes a lot of dirt, before you're going to find anything that might resemble gold. The same isn't true for women. They can't be promiscuous with impunity. Right? There's big differences, and I'm going to go through all these right now. So let's go through the evolved firmware as we dive into this. So let's talk about jealousy first. Men and women get jealous for completely different reasons. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, you can just expand the description, because that's where I always put my talking points for each show. You get the idea. So men and women get jealous for completely different reasons. I know I've probably covered this before, but there's a lot of new eyeballs that come into this stuff, and it's worth rehashing again. But women get jealous because they're afraid to lose provisioning, resources, and attention. They're not so interested, if we're being honest, in where he's parking his penis. Okay. Do they care? Yeah, of course. Would they rather have exclusive access to it? Yes. That's what they want. They want it all. But at the end of the day, throughout history and as a function of evolution, and I'm going to put a lot of emphasis on this for a reason, guys. Don't just sit around watching, what's new and cool out there in the Mano Swamp and think that you're going to get the best information. There's a lot of young guys out there, that have come into this space, and you'll see them pop out entertainment videos with some information infused into it. I'll be honest, man. If I want to ask somebody an opinion on something, I lean towards somebody that's been through parts of life that I haven't seen yet, right? Or at least have been to through the parts of life that I've also seen, not somebody younger than me. But there's a lot of this, I don't know, I just want to call it red pill masturbation, because that's really what it is. A lot of guys just, running just to get attention, and they're looking for money, and that's the wrong way to go about it, man. So some of the information out there ain't the greatest, but I always like to come back to Evo Psych. One of the best books I think all of you guys should honestly read, and I always have this pinned in the top comment of all my videos. It's called The Evolution of Desire, and the author's name is David Buss, I believe. And it's exactly as the title states. You're going to get what you expect out of that book. It's going to go through how human beings have evolved to where they are today over millions of years, and how we survived, how we got to the point that we are today. Okay, because a lot of people forget we've been on this planet for millions of years, as upright primates that have eventually evolved into sapiens, which is what we are today. So you have to look at human past. And in the past, women did not get jealous if you went and had sex with the neighbor in the other tent. What they were concerned about is, am I going to have provisioning, safety, protection from this guy? Is he going to feed us in the village? Are our children that we've made going to be taken care of? That's what they were concerned with. That's it. Men get jealous for different reasons, though. Men, as a function of evolution, especially in the last 10,000 years, I think this is highly emphasized because, you start introducing things like religion, marriage, and the way that culture has just exploded. And especially, with transportation, we've seen a lot of cross-pollinations, between different parts of the world. You go back 10,000 years ago, it wasn't easy to travel. I mean, I can hop on a flight when we're not in quarantine, and I can be over in Europe in 8 hours, right? You get the point, though. But men get jealous because they don't have assurance of paternity. Okay. They want to know that the baby in her belly that comes out of her is his. He doesn't want to be taking care of some other dude's kid. So that's why they're concerned with what she's doing with her lady parts. Simple as that. She talks to another guy, a guy hits on her, a pickup artist, approaches her, dude at work asks her out for a coffee. You don't really care as a guy. I mean, it's not a big freaking deal. If she's hot, she's going to get hit on. I mean, if you've got an attractive girlfriend, she's going to get hit on. It's just a fact of life, right? Guys don't typically get jealous over stuff like that. What they're concerned about is if if she's going to Pound Town with a convict in his matrimonial bed and his under 5-year-old children in the room at the same time. That's what he's concerned about. He wants to make sure that the kids are his, right? Women have 100% assurance of paternity because they carry the child, they birth it, they know it's theirs. There's no question in their mind. Men, however, have questions. So men and women get jealous for completely different reasons. Again, men get jealous because of paternity, because there's confusion. Infanticide is another problem in primates. It's actually quite popular. And if you don't know what infanticide is, it's basically where the dominant alpha male that enters that tribe basically kills off the offspring of the past dominant alpha male because they don't want those children getting in the way of his legacy. They also take up resources. And the other thing it does is it pushes the mama primates into estrus, right? So they're ready to get pregnant again. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. You get the point. Men and women get jealous for totally different reasons. People tell men do what's right, but they'll tell women do what's right for you. Okay? And this is true. This is absolutely 100% true. You've heard this play out time and time again. You see the girls in a conversation. They're like, you just do what's right for you, girl. You go, girl. You go and do that thing, right? They'll always tell guys, do what's right. Just do what's right. There's no for you at the end of it, right? Big, big difference. Pay attention to that. Men and women cheat. Okay, we got that one. Women athletes. Oh, this is another good one that I saw pop up a few times too. This is a good one. Female athletes. I think the example that they used was Women's Basketball Association. What is there? NBA, National Basketball? I don't know. I don't watch sports. I can't sit around and watch other guys chase excellence. It's just not me. Anyway, she was complaining that female basketball players get paid a heck of a lot less than male basketball players in the NBA. All right. See, these narratives that you hear are seeking equality of outcome in all cases. And there's certain scenarios where performance has to play a role, right? And if you've got an elite top shelf male basketball player that brings in, I don't know, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of eyeballs per show that sponsors can put their stuff in front of. They can sponsor, their jersey. The athlete will, speak to the validity of the sponsorship and the greatness of the sportswear, whatever the hell it is that he's promoting. Nowadays, it seems to be all liquor brands, right? But you get the idea, right? Women athletes just don't bring the same number of eyeballs to the sport as male athletes do. It's just a fact of life. So how can you pay women the exact same as you'd pay that male athlete? It just doesn't work that way, right? And you have to understand that these differences exist. The problem is that when you have these plugged in white knight beta males or these women that are pushing the agenda of equality in all areas and egalitarianism and blah, 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 blah. And let's make everybody the same. And men and women are exactly the same. If a man can do it, a woman can do it. Well, men can't have babies. You don't see me crying about that. I know that for a fact, right? Anyway, so we talked about the points in sports. Let's talk about the promiscuity issue because that's another one. Let me just grab these supers to make sure I don't let these things fall behind. Mexican Iron Man. Mexican Iron Man. Did you drive an R8? Recently moved my business, purpose, and life. California. I guess he means California. To South Carolina, already spinning 2 plates, 30 and 32, having a great year in business and paying less taxes. To guys in stream, I'm 51 and everything Rich teaches works. Thanks, Rich. You're welcome. And guys, if you want the playbook, boom, it's right there. Get it off Amazon, Kindle, print, and I did the audible narration myself. That's where you'll get the deep dive into all the useful information. But you better be ready to do the work. You better be ready to show up and do the damn work, because some of you guys, just not ready for that. You're not ready for the truth too. Let's go back to promiscuity. All right. Women today actually believe that they can be promiscuous with impunity. Now, part of that is because we've got hormonal birth control, which we didn't have for millions of years. It's only, what was it, the 60s or so, the late 60s, early 70s, that was available to the masses. I know the masses had, like most Western countries, had available like easy access to birth control by the late 70s. Okay. So that comes around, and then women can just have sex with whoever they want and not get pregnant. It's, there's 99%, success rate with most contraceptives, whether it's hormonal birth control pills, IUDs. I mean, they got to take the pills, obviously, IUDs, condoms, blah, blah, blah. You get it. But now women can all of a sudden be promiscuous with impunity, or so they think. But there's a big difference. They can do whatever they want. Okay. The masses can do whatever they want. They want to have, 100,000 notch counts. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to me. I could care less. But here's where it does matter. When guys go around looking for wife stock because they want to have kids, and they're dating, and they see that there's a bunch of women that they're talking to that are, for the most part, have been complete and total garden tools. They've been very liberal with their time and who they spend time with. It's just a fact of life. That's just the way that it is today. But the problem is that the data reveals that women that have had more partners are incredibly bad for long-term marriages. They have a difficult time forming a healthy pair bond to the children's father, to the man. And because they've moved around so much, hopping off, one eggplant to the other, it's very easy for them to move on. It's just a fact of life. And believe it or not, the numbers get bad after 3 partners. It's not like it's got to be 30 or 300, but after 3 partners, I mean, I think the data stopped getting collected after about 11 partners, 10 or 11 partners. But after that point, the chances of divorce go up dramatically. Huge. 1 or 2, I think it's about 30%. Once you get past 3, it just reaches, the pinnacle mark. So, I always tell guys, look, if, one of the things that you got to look at if you're vetting for wife stock is what's her notch count look like? Because I'm assuming you want to raise children under the same household, not have to deal with divorce, not have her go crazy, or at least lower the chances of her going crazy. Plus, it brings a bunch of other problems too, right? Women that have had a ton of partners are more often than not single moms. They've got multiple children, sometimes from different fathers. They've had abortions. I'm not just saying one, some is multiple. There's just a number of problems that pop up, and those things don't pop up with men. Men can't have abortions. Men can't actually form a healthy pair bond to a woman. Doesn't matter if his notch count is 10 or 30 or 50. Doesn't really matter. There's no consequences to men being promiscuous. And then, you always get the argument, like, you're telling guys to run around and do whatever they want. That's going to just ruin all women. Women have already ruined themselves. Society is at the point, it's well past the tipping point. Okay. Women have already chosen this path long before I ever uploaded my first video in 2014. Okay. This has been going on for decades before I showed up, before I even started writing the first word in my book. This has been going on for a long time. So this is not my fault. This is not the fault of any of the men that I collaborate with. This is society. You can thank toxic feminism for that one. All right. Men and women are the same. No, they're not. There's big differences, and there's consequences to choices. Choices have consequences, right? Ladies, if you're young and you're watching the show, think about that. Because smart guys that pay attention will not, or are very unlikely to wife up a promiscuous woman. if they got their head screwed on right. If they don't, hey, I don't care. You're plugged into lies. That's your choice. Men are the disposable sex while women are the protected sex. Nothing new there, right? Men have always been disposable. Warring tribes conflict. The winners take all the men that are of fighting age, adult males, teenage men, even teenage boys, tweens. They take them all and either enslave them or try to incorporate them into their military. And if neither one of those worked out, third option was kill them. While women were preserved. Why? Childbearing. Okay. Men have always been disposable while women have always been protected. Men and women are not the same. They're handled differently. And that's okay. Just get your head wrapped around it so you don't get surprised by any crazy stuff later on in life. Women can put off having babies for a career the way men can. That's a big lie, isn't it? They can't. Well, they can try. You know what one of my favorite radio ads is right now? And I don't know who the marketer is that did this, but it's brilliant. It's on the radio and it's like, hey girls, hey ladies, you've been putting off having babies for a while, and you got your degree, you got your career, you got promoted, you're the partner at the law firm, blibbity blah. Sign up now for IVF. For only $10,000, we'll get you knocked up. No problem at all. They include certain number of treatments. There's some disclaimers. And then somewhere, about 3/4 of the way through the ad, there's a little baby like laughing like, like that. Like, you're getting taken for 10 grand, lady, because you could have done this before and had a healthy baby. The chances of complex pregnancies go up dramatically after about the age of 25 to 30. Women will start looking at these numbers. The ones that are aware anyway, will start looking at the numbers and they'll start to realize, the chances of, bearing a child that has developmental issues, is on the spectrum, is going to require special needs, goes up. I think it's 1% or 2% every year after the age of 30. So, these 41-year-old, these 42-year-old women that are going out and getting IVF, hey, I know it works. I've seen babies come out of that. But, men can go and chase excellence all their lives and have children at 42. Healthy children, in fact. No problem at all. They can do it at 20. They can do it at 42. Heck, I talked to a guy last week that was 55 when he had twins. No IVF needed. He just wifed up a woman that was 20 years younger than him, right? So that's just the way that it is. I'm not going to spend any time on the handling of mothers and fathers and family law because I've already gone a little bit longer than I wanted to. Let me grab the invite link here and let you guys start queuing up for questions. So again, if you have you got a question on tonight's topic, awesome. Something you want to ask me about because you think you have a better solution to the problem, join me live and ask a Q. I'll let it Q because you guys want just copy and paste that so I can spam it. There it is. So come in and try to keep it on topic. But if there's something that you think you have a solution to, something that I've talked about, and it's a better solution than what I've talked about, let's hear it. I had a guy that messaged me, the other week. He's like, I want to debate you. I'm 23 and I'm smart and I want to debate you. All right, come on my show. Before the Train Wreck, it's always on Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come on the show. Bring your questions. But do not be a value leech, guys. You know what I'm talking about when I say value leech. Don't show up and start crying, not listening and sulking, especially if you got more chins than a Chinese phone book. Don't pull that shit on me. Honestly, there should be like a minimum requirement before you can, watch any of this stuff, read a book on any of this stuff. Can you at least do 25 push-ups straight? Start there. Miranda says, Richard, why not just get prenups? Why are you so against marriage? Can't you just get a fair prenup? There's all kinds of problems that come with prenups, which I cover in great detail in my book on the marriage chapter. You should grab it, Miranda. It will help you as a woman understand the plight of men. But essentially, there's a lot of flaws with prenups. They can be effective, but as more time passes and as circumstances change, they're not usually worth the paper they're written on 10, 15 years down the road, especially if there's been big change in circumstances and who's working, who's staying home. and everything that ties into that. And unfortunately, everything in family law is hostile towards fathers. It is not friendly towards fathers. It's friendly towards mothers and hostile towards fathers. And it also encourages women to behave very badly during divorce. Those are all facts. You want to learn more about that? Read the chapter in my book on that. DigiNomad, you got jacked rich and kept that flame. Love it. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Amadeus, Amadeus. That was a very cool song back when I was a kid. There is a girl I know who's been a CC rider. I'm guessing that's carousel rider in her 20s. Anyways, on a pill, a few abortions, now trying to get pregnant for almost a year without any luck. That's why your past catches up with you. Yeah. There are consequences to choices. There are big consequences to choices, some greater than others.